The Zionist state, the state of Israel, has made it absolutely clear that they will not be a partner to peace, period. The only thing they're ever willing to do is to sign an agreement with the Palestinians that was a surrender agreement, which is what Oslo was, which is why it's failed. Oslo was an attempt to get the Palestinians to sign, to get Yasser Arafat to sign a surrender agreement. And when he didn't do it, they said, well, he's not willing to make concessions. He wants to kill Jews. You know, he'd already given up 80% of Palestine for the two-state solution. And he's making peace with a country who destroyed Palestine and won't allow the Palestinians to return to their homeland. The state of Israel is not a partner to peace. They made it absolutely clear. The most reaching out cabinet there ever was, with Rabin in Paris and so on, they made it absolutely clear that there were three things they would not negotiate. They had three no's. No to the Jordan River Valley, no to the expanded boundaries of Jerusalem, and no to the major settlement blocks. You know what that means? No Palestinian state, because these three make up most of the West Bank. And this is the most peace-leaning government Israel has ever had. So Israel cannot be a partner to this. Not in a transitionary way, not in any other way. You can't have just a little, it's like a pregnancy. You can't have a little pregnancy. You either have a racist regime or you have a democracy. You either have a racist regime or you have a democracy. You can't have a little bit of both. And Israel is a racist regime, and therefore it's not working, therefore it has to go. And that's exactly how it has to be. It's like with apartheid. You have to get rid of apartheid. You have to get rid of Jim Crow. You have to get rid of racism, period. And then you can move forward. Thank you. And then you can move forward beyond that. And it has been done. And it has been done. And Israel didn't invent all these methods. You're absolutely right about the demonic use of the Shabak and so forth and their methods. But they didn't invent this. And other regimes that were like that were brought down by serious popular grassroots resistance. And again, I say this again, it has to be that people who are on the side of peace and justice, and again, some people think that what's going on is fine and should stay that way. This is a question of values. But if your values determine that you believe in peace and justice and so forth, then a democracy is the only thing that's available, because the other option is this. There is no third option. It's either racism with Israel or a democracy without Israel, and that's the way it is. And nobody's talking about genocide, and nobody's talking about killing Jews. That's all a bunch of nonsense. We're talking about a transition from a non-democratic state to a democracy, to include more people in the system, in the process, in the political process. That's what we're talking about. And again, I'm not suggesting this is going to be a walk in the park. I'm not suggesting it. This is going to be a tough, excruciatingly difficult uphill battle. The Israeli army is not going to roll over and die. The state of Israel is not going to roll over and die. The Zionist propaganda machine here in the U.S., AIPAC, and their all their tentacles are not just going to. I mean, they're running out of excuses, but they're still going to jump up and down. They've got a lot of resources. And if you're not Jewish, you're going to be called an anti-Semitic, even though there's nothing Jewish about Israel, so there's nothing anti-Semitic about opposing it. And if you're a Jew, they're going to call you all kinds of stupid names. But the point is this. If you're not Jewish, and criticizing Israel means that you're anti-Semitic, what do you call somebody then who supports Israel? If it's anti-Semitism to oppose Israel, to oppose racism, if it's anti-Semitism to oppose this brutal regime, if it's anti-Semitism to oppose a state that has thousands of political prisoners, what do you call a person who supports all these things? A good Semite? A good Samaritan? What? What is the name that you go by when you like these things, when you support these things, when you give a brutal regime like that all that money?